My name is Neah Krigger. I teach here in Miami-Dade County Public Schools. I have 8th grade science students. I actually have 95 students that I'm responsible for. We received the J&J curriculum not at the beginning of the year. We were at least maybe 3 or 4 months into the school year by the time we received the curriculum, which I felt like was too late. But I want to go over the data to show you before J&J curriculum was implemented in my classroom, when we started implementing it, and once we became so comfortable with it, meaning myself and my students. So here's my data wall. It's colorful, but it's pretty much marked by periods. I have 5 periods, so we're starting from 1 to 5. Here was at the beginning of the school. We were at a 41%, so before J&J. Here we were at a 50%. We did go up a little bit. We received the J&J books and started slowly implementing the curriculum, but we weren't too comfortable yet. We went over some more strategies of how to do it, spoke to J&J representatives, and got feedback as to what needed to be done. When we really became comfortable was when we had the next assessment. From 50% we went to 54%, and then from that assessment we went to the next assessment where we scored 63%. So it did jump up 10 percentage points, actually 9 percentage points from there. Then we finally went to the next assessment, went to 58. We dropped a little bit, but it was still pretty much higher than where we were before we received the J&J curriculum. Then we went to our final assessment, which is our mid-year assessment. This assessment pretty much piggybacks everything pretty much taught on FCAT assessment. This assessment mimics FCAT, but it's also the next close assessment to the beginning assessment. So I was able to measure my students' growth from the beginning to where we were during the mid-year. And we were at the beginning of 41%, and we received a 52%, which I feel was accredited to the J&J program that we implemented. I have the feedback books, I have the games, I have the PowerPoints, the review posters, which are great. My students are able to follow me on my Prometheum, where I am as we're reading in the J&J bootcamp books. We even do the foldables, which I can show you really quick. On my vocabulary wall, we have some of the foldables. And the students pretty much, after the lesson is done, I give them the foldable material. We do the foldable, setting up the paper. Then they actually have to find the vocabulary word associated with the definition. Once that's done, there's a picture that they have to associate with the vocabulary. To take it a step further, I went ahead and created some questions that are FCAT-like questions based off of the standard, which once the foldable was completed, students had to answer the question. It is a multiple choice, then it extended in from that multiple choice to a written explanation. So that was one thing that we used. These foldables were then placed into their journal, where they have it as a reference to use for later use. When the students come in, they basically grab their J&J's feedback books, which are over here by our computers. It's a little messy, but it's there. They grab their speed bags, they go to their seat, and we start on a paragraph that we start reading right away. Discuss it, go back and forth. I like the format that we have for J&J due to the fact my students can read, draw a picture about what we've read, go into vocabulary, go into a quick write-up about it, discuss amongst peers, discuss with me, and then go to 5 to 6 questions to answer. By the time they get to their questions, we've already discussed, rediscussed, read it, used multiple choice, writing, used it in writing, brought it back and forth again so many times to where once we do the questions, they are successful in answering. What they're not able to answer at that time, I will then go back and review. So that was just a quick snapshot of how we use J&J in my classroom, how it's benefited us over the school year, and how it's going to continue benefiting us. My students have finished taking the FCAT assessment, and they feel comfortable. I feel confident about it as well. So we're just waiting for our results to come in to show how well we did. And I want to say thank you to the J&J company for supplying us with the material. And the only regret I do have is the fact that we did not implement it in the beginning of the year. So with that said, we will not make the same mistake next year. So thank you. I hope it was helpful.